Alrighty, check it out, guys. It's been over a month now since I have had these Sealight LED headlights in my 2015 Volvo S60. I've got it running right now. You can see, we can probably hear the fan and you can see the RPMs. Rev it a little bit there. And I have no error message and my headlights are on right now. So, how does that happen? What did I do to fix it? I'll show you. Just got through snow blowing the driveway and, or not snow blowing, shoveling the driveway. We've got a bunch of snow. And I thought I would show you guys this real quick. After the sale, a week and a half, 2 weeks after I bought those Sealight headlights from my last video about these, Sealight reached out with their customer satisfaction email. They send it out to everybody. And they said, how are things going? Did you get the headlights installed? Do you like them? All that kind of stuff. And I replied back and I said, well, I got them installed, but I'm getting a bulb failure message on my Volvo. They said, oh, you probably just need a set of resistors. What's your address? They verified the address, and they sent me a set of resistors for free. And they work really good. Now, if I have a clip, I think I still have a clip from a previous install attempt at these that I was going to make a video, and things went a bit wrong, but I'll show you the resistors themselves. If I have that video, we will pop it in right now. Well, hello again, everybody. In a previous video, I had installed these really nice Sealight scope arc, which I think is just like a sub-branding or model of these lights, H11 LED headlights in my 2015 Volvo S60. If you look at that video, the light that they produce is excellent. I still absolutely love the bulbs. I can see so much better with them at night. The level of the line where it shines below here but not above here to be in people's eyes is dead perfect. So I really like these lights. But the issue we ran into is the Volvos have that really picky, sensitive, needy, whatever you want to call it, it probably applies, CANBUS system. If a bulb goes out in this thing, it's adamant it has to be replaced, especially a headlight bulb. It'll actually come up on the dash with the console area with a message that says something about, do you want to contact a dealership? No, I don't want to contact a dealership. Thank you very much. I did try a set of CANBUS error canceling devices that were, I don't know what in the heck were in these things, but they did not work. And Sealight actually contacted me in a follow-up to say, hey, does this, are you having any problems? And I told them that I was getting this message, and they said, oh, you probably just need a set of resistors in. I was hoping to avoid the resistors because they get hot, but it looks like I may have no choice. They did send me these completely for free. They just said, we want to verify the address to make sure we're sending it to the right place, and we'll send them out to you. And they sent these to me. There is a disclaimer on the bag right here in very small print, but you do want to pay attention to this. Boy, I can barely read this. It's so small. It says, load resistor heat up like light bulbs and get really hot in capital letters when working. Mount them on metal surface, not plastic. So don't touch by hand directly. Install in line with the existing bulbs. We already know that. And then if they don't work, contact them and let them know. Plug and play LED load resistors is what they're called. Part number ACB A12 A2-H11, and the H11 just means the connector style. These are very nice wiring. They're nice mesh wiring, very sturdy. This is the way the plugs look. This goes in line so that it adds a bit of resistance to the LED bulb, to the circuit that the LED bulb is on, to make the car think that it has a standard bulb. It basically increases this to what the resistance would be for a standard bulb, so the car looks and says, oh yeah, you're good, I can see the bulb. So the big question is, do these work? So the first thing we have to do is install these and just kind of set them there. We'll just hang them open air for right now, just for a couple of minutes, and see, does the do the headlights function without an error message on the dash? If they do, then we're going to have to find a way to mount these. These do have little mounting tabs on them, so what I suspect we may have to do is on these headlights, they have that cover plate in the back that seal the headlight assembly inside. I have a feeling I might have to take and cut a little notch in that so I can lead this outside and then find something to mount this to. And the back of that headlight assembly, I think, is all plastic. So what I may have to do is find a piece of metal, a small piece of metal of some sort, maybe 3 by 6 inches, mount that to the headlight assembly on the back, and that cover plate that comes off, I could probably mount it right there if I really wanted to. So when I unscrew the cover plate, all I've got to do is just fold it off to the side and then unplug this. And then I could mount that to the piece of metal that I put on the back of the cover plate, so that it acts as a heat sink and draws heat away from this to help keep this cooler as well. I think there's plenty of room for that. I've just got to take a look at the headlight assembly on the back and see if I can find something that would suffice. I mean, if I needed to, I could probably cut a soda can in half and use that. I want something a little thicker than that, I think. So we're going to see what we can come up with and go from there. First things first, let's take this out to the car. Let's put these in the car and just kind of set the headlights in place and see if they work and do what they're supposed to do first. If they don't get rid of the warning, there's no need in going any further whatsoever. So let's establish that first. Let's go outside. Okay, so if we did still have that, you saw the video. And if not, I'll let you know. This might be repetitive, but on the package in very small print, it says, these resistors get hot like the bulb. So what you want to do is make sure you do not mount these resistors on a plastic surface. I also decided that also meant I should not be putting these bulbs inside the headlight assembly that's sealed. If your bulb is inserted, yes, I know the bulbs get hot, but it is in a reflector. That reflector radiates out different wavelengths of electromagnetic radiation, light being one of them. Infrared that creates heat is just at one end of the light spectrum, so that reflective surface will help radiate some of that heat out away from the light assembly as well. If you don't have that bulb, like a resistor or something, inside that reflective surface, then it's going to collect inside the headlight assembly, which I think could be disastrous if you've got that much heat building up inside a piece of plastic. It's going to start melting things. So I had to get creative and cut notches in that surface that goes on the back of the lights, so that I could lead the LEDs out. This is where things got a little bit interesting, because I had these nice and beautifully mounted. I had this idea of taking two L brackets and hooking them together to make a U bracket, so that I could mount one end down to the headlight backing, and then on the other side, I'd put like a piece of pie tin or something to act as a heat sink to help draw heat away from the resistors to keep them a little bit cooler. And I found out it took me 2 or 3 attempts on one headlight, on the passenger headlight, because when I led the wires down out the bottom, they got in the way of the retaining pin, so I had to shoot them out the end. And on the driver's side, you can't do that at all. You've got all these wiring harnesses and things back behind it, so you can't put anything back behind it. And I had to stick the resistor off the end of the headlight assembly. Not my optimal choice, but I've been running this setup for about a month now, and it's been working fine. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Alrighty, this is the back side of the passenger side light, and there's the cover over the back of the headlight. I had to lead the wires out the end down on this end down here, and you see how they're kind of looped back up through. I have an L bracket. I don't know if you can see it down there. You can see the standoff. So that I don't have the resistor mounted directly against the plastic, I got 2 L brackets bolted together to make a U bracket so that it's away from the plastic. And this right here is a pie tin that I just covered the edges with tape to keep the sharp edges away. And I put a little bit of copper anti-seize to act as a thermal compound behind the resistor so that it helps draw the heat out and onto this and away. This resistor does get hot. It's cool to the touch now, even though I've only had the car off a couple of minutes. So that's how I had to do this one. Over on the driver's side, you see that little thing sticking up there. Basically, if you look back there, there's all this wire loom. There is no room whatsoever to mount the resistor behind the headlight. So what I had to do was take me an L bracket, use one screw to hold it onto one of the screws that holds the backing, the headlight backing plate in, that seals the assembly. I took one of the screws and mounted the L bracket there, and then mounted the resistor to the other one. I had to drill the hole out on these resistors a little bit bigger to get that's just the bolts that I had available, so I used what I had. I could have bought some smaller ones, but they were only a hair off, so I went ahead and used what I had. But my biggest concern was just sitting out in the open like that, would that create so much heat that it would burn the resistor pack out. Now, the L bracket does act a little bit as a heat sink to help draw a little bit of the heat away from it, so that's helpful. But this is about the only spot I could put it where it wasn't touching something else to melt it, possibly. I mean, even so, look down below there. It's still even real close to the one wire there. But it is not touching it, and it's away from the wire loom and everything else, so it's safe. And so far, especially since I've got fresh air coming in off of the radiator, so when I'm moving, I've got fresh air moving through here, seems to be working really well. I've had 0 issues with it. And that is also cool to the touch, even though the car has been off just a few minutes. So, bottom line is the resistors do work to make these Sealight LED headlight bulbs work in this Volvo. Now, the one thing I have not had, until I have a bulb failure, I won't know. Does the resistor add so much value to this so that if the bulb goes bad, my CANBUS system won't tell me that I have a bulb out? Now, on a headlight, I'm not that worried about it. I can see the difference. If I have a headlight go out, I can say, oh, there's no light shining on that side of the car. It's pretty obvious, so I'm not that worried about it. If it doesn't work, I don't care. If it were a taillight bulb, that would be a different story. I watch those carefully. I have resistors mounted on what's now my daughter's 2009 because I put LED taillights in that. They look beautiful. They've been working beautifully over a year now. And but the bad thing is, if one of those taillights goes out, I probably will not get a warning that it's out because of the resistors. I don't know if that's going to happen with this. But like I said, I don't really care. So Can you put LED headlights on one of these Volvo cars, this style of Volvo car? Yeah, you can. You can put the LED headlights in there. If you use the Sealight, I know they will provide you with the resistor if you ask them for it. If not, you will probably have to buy a resistor. And if Sealight sells one, buy theirs because I know what happens to work and they are pretty doggone cheap. So that's it. Just a super quick update to let you guys know how this came out. I'm very happy with the results. The lights look magnificent at night. They are so much superior to a regular incandescent style glowing coiled piece of metal, which is what your regular headlights is. It's so much nicer. Reflective surfaces just jump out at you at night, whether it's reflective surface from a bicycle or a street sign or a runner or whatever. They really show up super clear. Not to mention that they just light the road up better. So anyways, that's it. Just a quick update. Hope you guys are doing well, and hope spring comes soon. See you later.